In the cases of rape, if you look at statistically speaking, it's actually better for the mother to have to not have an abortion in the case of rape.
Okay, so
And in fact, do you know?
I've got
a question.
keep their babies.
Question. Tick for tack.
Yeah.
Do you believe that somehow?
No. Question.
I've just answered your question.
You would force rape victims to keep their babies.
Unfortunately, yes. Okay, now can I answer your question? Can I ask you a question? Do you believe the moral worth of a fetus is determined by the circumstance of its delivery or birth or conception?
No.
Okay, great. So what is the difference between the fetus of a rapist and the fetus of someone who is consented in sex? Okay, so why does your religion allow for the abortion of both innocent and rapist fetus?
Because it looks at society afterwards. So when the mother gives birth to the raped child, she might throw it in a bin.
Okay, and that's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at morality, it's not looking through, you're very much looking through the practical aspect of moral law.
Yeah.
But we are God-fearing men who assume that laws given are in the most ideal sense. So for example, it is equally wrong for a woman to have an abortion.
No, not
wait,
ideal.
Hold on, interruption.
Not ideal. It
Okay.
cannot work in ideal
Okay,
sense.
so you think if it was
The same way humans will never be sinless.
Okay.
There's no ideal.
Would you call for a law if, for example, rape was enshrined within the culture of a tribe? Would you call for a law for legalizing rape because too many things? No, because you're saying that we should allow for abortion laws because society will still have abortions regardless of what we tell them. So, would you permit within the law if a society has a high case of rape, even if it was still was enshrined in the law that you can't? Would you still insist that the law should be that you can rape someone?
Your question is very hypothetical.
There's
no point answering that.
No, it's not. Why can't it? Because I'm questioning the consistency in your logic. You're saying to me that
My consistency
you're
wouldn't apply to hypothetical scenarios.
No, yes, it would. That is the very nature of a hypothetical.
So repeat it, go on.
Okay.
And
So
what did you get from
this guy's principle is that just because people won't follow what is the best possible solution, therefore we should move drastically down to their level and allow it. It's the same. It's the same argument that people on the left give for drug regulation.
Arguing against God. This is what you're doing.
Abortion.
So what you're doing when you're arguing against God is, God says, this is ideal. This is how you should act. However, this is the actual real life.
But you've just said to me.
Real life is not this. Real life is this.
You've just said to me that it is not a sin to have abortion. It's not a sin to marry your cousin. Those
Abortion,
two things.
sorry?
Abortion. Yeah.
It's not a sin to you?
Yeah. In Islam.
No.
What's your school of thought?
There's the consensus again.
What's your school of thought?
Is that it's allowed for some.
No, it's not applied for some. It's some
scenarios.
days.
Some
75 to 120.
Yeah.
What school of thought do you hold to?
No. Those scenarios.
What school of thought do you hold to?
only be able to do in those days.
What school of thought do you hold to?
You understand what I said?
What school of thought do you hold to?
So for these
I can tell you
scenarios,
your position.
I heard you. For these scenarios, you would have to apply these dates. Anything after these dates, 40 days is it? You're not allowed to.
No, it's a 75 to 120.
You won't be allowed to.
Okay. Do you know why? Do you know why abortion is permitted within Islam? Do you know the underlying rationale?
Because at that age, the fetus has developed his brain.
No, it's the
a
soul.
Human. It's a human.
No,
soul.
No.
It's a human.
So there are two hadiths transmitted by Ibn Kathir that talk about the soul.
So do you see how Islam always is with the common sense?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you something.
You can't argue
I'm
against
going to tell you.
You can't argue against God.
Of course I am. Because your God's
let's
incredibly.
go, after this, let's go into Sharia and why Sharia is from God.
Great.
Let's
so
go into that.
There are two hadiths narrated that talk about the underlying justification for why abortion is permitted within Islam. It talks about the when the soul is within the fetus, right? Now, the common philosophical understanding of the soul is the principle of material life, the ultimate thing that fuels the material body. Now, interesting. So, a soul is the principle of material life. If you don't have a soul, technically you're not living, right? So if you're telling me that the soul is not yet in the fetus until the 70-day or 120-day mark, you're going to have to tell me that the fetus is not living, it's dead. Now, science would tell you that the fetus is in fact living. So I said to you, the reason why Islam permits abortion is because of two hadiths. The soul. Now, the soul is the principle of material life. Every living thing has a soul.
He wasn't alive,
that's what my point is. So prior to the 120 days and 70 days, the soul would have been clinically dead.
True.
So the fetus is dead in your eyes.
The fetus before the soul is basically just a body bag.
So you think that a fetus? So what scientist would agree with you that a fetus is technically dead?
It's dead alive.
Well, what the hell does that mean?
Like a clone,
there is no. Okay, firstly, unique DNA within the fetus.
It's just meat growing in a lab.
Okay, firstly, unique DNA. Secondly, living. Thirdly, there's nothing that biologically changes between those days.
Until the soul.
Okay, you understand that your skin cells are living, right?
Does it have a soul?
It's a part of me, so yes.
So where's the soul?
Yeah, it's a part of myself.
So where's the soul?
The soul is something that is immaterially inside myself.
The skin doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, but it's a part of me.
So just because you've got skin doesn't mean you're alive.
By virtue of the fact that the skin cell is a part of the whole, which is myself,
okay.
it possesses a soul.
As a Christian, are you disagreeing with a body is just a body without a soul?
Well, a fetus, if the body is dead, it has no soul. If the fetus is alive, it has a soul. So this is how clinically brain dead Islam is. You actually think that
we're not doing
no, because you originally did that, and of course you've now just told me, and you've legitimized the mass butchering of innocent human people en masse. So you've just told me that a fetus, right, at its very conception is dead. No scientist would ever agree with you.
Abortion is only allowed in certain scenarios.
No, okay, if you agree
Number one.
Okay, if
Number two, in those certain scenarios,
you're still saying it's
guidelines
clinically dead.
Is those days.
You've still clinically told me this fetus is dead according to you.
So there is no mass butchering because it's only in certain scenarios.
What's the abortion rate here in the UK? It's 48%. That is nearly
secular.
It's also according to Islam, because Islam is not talking about abortion. You live in a society whilst you're allowing for these things to happen.
No.
48%, including the Muslim community.
We agree with Christianity.
No, you don't. You allow for it.
We agree with
You allow for it. In fact, you go so far
I finish?
in trying to prove that it's legitimate, that you're going against science.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You guys are barbaric. For not allowing certain scenarios, it's barbaric.
Like
what?
what?
You understand that?
Because I value.
So you
I value the fetus of a rapist.
A child, a female girl like this old, who's been violated, to carry and give birth to a baby.
Of course, if it's viable to do so. Okay.
You don't see how that's barbaric.
You're confusing the quality of life to the right to life. Whether your right to life is contingent upon the quality of life.
What is this girl or woman supposed to do with the baby?
One second. Okay.
Is she supposed to love the baby?
What you're doing is confusing the quality of life to the right to life.
No, that's where the word bastard came from.
Pardon?
Bastard would actually
I would rather be a bastard than be dead, right? I hope we can all agree that I'd rather be a bastard and ridiculed within society than actually still be breathing.
But that's the bastards that stay alive. That's the bastards that grow up.
Hold on. One second.
So there's no
I'd rather live
guarantee that you would live.
Yeah, of course. But just because there's no guarantee.
The same thing you were arguing about cousin marriage and deformed children is the same argument for bastard children.
Yeah, but I don't kill deformed children.
But
abortion
bastard children
does that.
Get thrown in the bin.
Yeah, but abortion does the very same thing that we're both against.
Yes.
Killing people for the quality of their life.
Rather stop the child from being born before the soul comes.
Show restraint for 1 minute. You're confusing the quality of life to the right to life. Now, using the same logic, we could just get the firing squad out in some deprived country in Africa where they're starving and start shooting them because, might as well, they're going to have this poor, consistent quality of life, so might as well get rid of their right to life to begin with. Now, before you interrupt, you are saying that although there is no moral difference,
in this case,
of course I'm accepting the moral. There have been
mental, physical, psychological torture for the woman.
You actually know there are studies that found that if you there's been studies in America that found that there's a 4x chance. Pardon? No. There is a 4x chance of you committing suicide if you had an abortion in conjunction with a rape. Do you know why? Because most women who have this maternal sense of taking care of children, after the abortion, regret having it. Because although they know it is of the offspring of a rapist, they can still appreciate there's a unique human life that they could have mothered. And most women are instinctually mothers. Okay. So in fact,
Islam says
you can butcher people.
You can't unalive your baby just because it's going to come out.
That's not true. Show me a source.
Down syndrome.
Not true.
You can't kill your baby.
Not true.
But medical
not true.
or extreme
I'm
cases,
telling you this now, it's not
it is
true.
allowed.
There was a medical study done at the Hanbali School of Thought, and it was talking about the medical application of abortion and its underlying justification for why they permit abortion within Islam. And the consistent theme within it is that the reason why abortion is permitted is not because of the circumstances by which a baby is conceived, but rather the philosophical understanding of when we start valuing what is a human. Now, if we present an argument that the reason why we allow for abortions is because we give no moral legitimacy to fetuses that do not exhibit a soul, then it shouldn't be circumstantial. It should just be we're allowed to abort the thing because we don't give it any moral value across the board.
Well, the moral value came from God.
Pardon?
Moral value comes from God.
Yeah, which according to you comes from the soul.
So you as a human cannot make up your own morality.
But
God,
I can tell you that any
morality.
God that says I'm allowed for abortions en masse is a completely vilified, evil, fictitious God.
So it's not en masse, is it?
Pardon?
It's not en masse.
Yes, it is.
You want it to be, again.
No, I don't.
You guys, you always reframe things just to add a deception in there. Anyway, going back to promoting Christianity,
Yeah.
you said it stops abortion.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm still waiting for your argument against Christianity, by the way.
I'm still waiting for you to say one more
Yeah,
thing.
so the reason why I believe Christianity is so it promotes monogamy, the concept of one husband, one wife, it's extremely beneficial.
Is that from Christianity?
Of course, yes. Christ says in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 7.
Chinese don't marry monogamously?
Okay, but the ones that were promoting it, especially in traditions where they had concepts of like polygamous marriages between more than one husband and more than one wife, was from 1 Corinthians 7, where it talks about the legitimacy and roles of marriage.
I'll give you the monogamy and
Because
abortion.
if you look at
what is the benefit of Christianity for society?
disciples young men and young women into appreciating one another, into appreciating the value of children. In terms of charity, the church is a voluntary social communion.
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah.
Three points you got.
Well, those are one of the several points that I have. Now, I'm going to invite you to critique Christianity.